Hello everybody and welcome back. It is Micah and today I want to talk to you about guilds. And I don't mean the hilarious web series by Felicia Day, but if you have not seen that, I highly suggest you check it out. No, I'm talking about guilds and MMOs because if you play MMOs and if you're here, I'm sure you do, then you have been involved in a guild in some sort of capacity. They're kind of hard to get away from, whether it was as a member, as an officer, or as a leader. And there's so many MMOs on the market right now. We have some that are coming out that are talking about shaking things up and doing something new. And then you have other ones that are talking about how they're just going to take us back to that old school MMO experience. Either way, there are a lot of people looking for guilds right now. And some people just simply have given up on looking for guilds and decided that they're going to start their own because they've just never found a home. And unfortunately, a lot of these guilds don't survive. And it's not because the guild leaders are bad, but generally because they run into roadblocks that they didn't expect, or they started having to do things that they didn't know that they weren't prepared for. And as someone who has a lot of guild leadership experience, I started my first guild in Final Fantasy XI in 2005. That ran for about 7 years. And then I started one in Final Fantasy XIV, a completely different beast of an MMO. And that I started that right after A Realm Reborn came out, and that lasted all the way through about halfway through the life cycle of Heaven's Word. So I have a lot of guild leadership experience, and I wanted to kind of pass that knowledge to the next generation of guild leaders who really want to start their own guild, but just don't know what to expect. Before I really get started, I want to put it out there. This is not just like how it is. This is stuff that worked for me and didn't work for me. And I'm just like putting it out there. Different guild leaders have different experiences, different things that worked for them. And it also varies from game to game. So something that worked really well for me may not work really well for you. And when it comes right down to it, this is your guild, not mine. So do what you want to do. I'm just here to hopefully give you a little bit of helpful advice. Originally, I was just going to do this in one video, but after I had it edited, it turned out to be almost an hour long, and no one wants to watch that. I mean, come on, an hour worth of this stuff. So I decided to chop it up into a little bit more digestible bits. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be talking about guild leadership, and I'm going to cover everything from themes and recruitment and dealing with drama, like all the stuff that you have to do as a guild leader. I'm not going to talk about specific types of guilds, like raid guilds or casual guilds or anything like that, because to me, that's just a little bit too specific, and my guilds were always a little bit more general. But when it comes to guild types, that's a completely different video, so I'm not going to go too deep into that here. This is also not going to be the meat and potatoes of my channel. I'm not going to just have a guild leadership channel because there's only so much you can say. I do have other types of videos in the works and in concept and in development. So hopefully I will be able to get those out very soon. And when I do, I'll probably actually start doing more than one video a week. So I hope if you came here for guild advice that you find other things that you find entertaining and you stick around for a while. Which is my little way of saying, make sure you like and subscribe if you like the content that I'm putting out. But let's get more to what I wanted to cover specifically in this video. The first of which is the work you're going to have to do as a guild leader, because a lot of people start a guild and they think, oh, we're going to get a few members, we're going to have a couple, maybe get a guild house and something like that. And then my guild's going to just be great. And I'm going to get officers, and I'm going to do this, and we're just going to be this happy, great, successful guild. And that's not how it works at all. Guild leadership is almost like a full-time job, part-time if you're lucky, but almost always like a full-time job. So don't just expect to throw a few people together and be really successful. You're going to have to do a lot of stuff that you don't want to do. You're going to have to help people out with stuff that you've done a million times already, that you maybe find really boring. You're going to have to go out of your way to come back and help people with certain things. And a lot of times it's just going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe how much work this actually is. Sometimes you're going to be like, these people suck. Why am I doing this? I don't like these people. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know why am I doing this? And then other times you're going to be like, oh my God, these people are so great. And I just love having my own guild and everything's going so great. It's just so wonderful. I just love it. It's going to go up and down like that. It always does. It's like I said, it's just like having a job. Sometimes you really love your job. Sometimes you really hate your job. But most of the time it is really worth it because you get out what you put in. I just really wanted to stress right here that it is work. It is something that you're going to have to keep up on. It is something that you're going to have to, do not only in game, but outside of game. So, I mean, it's just, so be prepared for that because a lot of people just are not prepared for the amount of work running a guild actually is. The other thing I want to talk about is, do you know why you actually want to start a guild? Because this is going to be a big factor in motivation to keep you going. And it's something you should know right off the bat. Is there a specific need in the community you just want to fulfill? Or do you just want your own guild? Or do you just want to be the master of your own guild and rule over all these peasants? Because those guilds are actually really funny. Once you become a guild leader, you'll notice that you start interacting a lot with other guild leaders, and you will always find these people, and it's so much fun to keep tabs on their guild when you do see them, because their guild will go down in flames and their reputation usually goes down with it. And in general, they throw the most entertaining fits along the way. So yeah, really fun. And also not at all a good reason to start a guild. So if that's your motivation, just move along. Like I said, this is good just to keep you motivated. So every time you have one of those moments where you're like raging and you just hate your guild people and just want to walk away, you can always think of, well, this is why I'm doing this. Personally, back in 2005 when I started my guild in Final Fantasy XI, I did it because I was having problems getting anything done. And I noticed when I was in the dunes and I was in leveling parties with other people that a lot of people who just started the game had the same problems. So instead of like sitting around and complaining about it like a lot of people were, I actually just went back to Sandoria. I grabbed a link sack or link pearl, link clam, whatever they were. And then I made a bunch of pearls and I gave them out to all these people. And I was like, hey, now we can like help each other out. And that's exactly what we did. We leveled up together, we turned into endgame and yada, yada, yada. It was just a really great link shell. And every time that I was like really depressed or anything like that, I was just like, well, why am I doing this? Oh yeah, to help each other get stuff done. Admittedly, it was a little bit selfish because I just wanted to get stuff done and I just didn't want to sit around and complain. I didn't want to sit and shout for hours and hours to get anything done either. But what it turned out to be this incredible like group of people who helped each other out and who enjoyed helping each other out. When it came to Final Fantasy XIV, I really couldn't find a guild that I really felt at home in, so I decided, hey, you know what, I did this in 11, I can do this again in Final Fantasy XIV. So I went and started my own guild. Didn't work out nearly as well, but for a while it was good. I still have that guild in Final Fantasy XIV, although it's more of a solo guild, because like I said, you don't really need a guild outside of the social aspect. So I just have my own personal guild where I have me and my alts in, and then I just join link shells. But those are the big things I want to talk about this week because those are incredibly important. You know, you have to know that you're going to have a lot of work to do and you have to kind of know why you want to do that work. It's just something that's going to help make your guild better. Next week, I'll be covering themes. So it's going to be like names and themes, basically, and everything that goes along that. Something that's good to kind of have decided before you start your guild and how the theme of your guild can affect your guild positively and negatively. So I hope you tune in for that next week. If you like what I'm doing here, make sure you subscribe as I do release at least one video a week. And I have more different types of content that are in development that are going to be coming out very soon. And make sure if you have any questions to leave them below. I'm always happy to answer questions when it comes to pretty much whatever. But as always, it has been a hoot, and until next time, have fun.